So in today's class, we're going to be continuing in Pirke Abot, Perek Gimel, chapter 3, with Mishnayot 11 and 12, Yod Aleph and Yod Bet. This class and all of this week's Pirke Avot classes are sponsored in loving memory of Ruth Bat Rivka by Audrey and Ike Dweck. And in today's class, we're going to be reading about the sayings of Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. And the Gemara tells us and relates to us in Masechet Berachot about Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa that he was the student of the famous Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai. And there's a story that goes like this, that he went to go learn Torah by Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai, and Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai's son got sick. And Rabbi Yochanan turns to Rabbi Hanina and says, Hanina beni, Hanina, my son, Bikesh alav rahamim v'chiyeh. Please request and pray for the mercy of God on my son and he will live. Hiniach rosho ben birkav ubikesh alav rahamim v'chaya. Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai praises Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa for this, and we see the great praise of the prayers of Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa as Rabbi Yochanan tells his wife, Hanina is like an Eved lifnei hamelech. He was like a servant in front of the king. And on that note, you want to see the teachings of Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa omer, Kol shirat het'o kodemet lechochmato, chochmato mitkayemet. If one's fear of sin precedes his wisdom endures. V'chol shechochmato kodemet liyirat het'o, en chochmato mitkayemet. But the reverse, if one's wisdom precedes his fear of sin, then his wisdom does not endure. What does this mean? Rabbi Obadiah bar Tenura explains as follows, that he heard this idea is that if a person thinks in his heart that I will learn Torah in order to be a fearer of sins, what does that mean? Yirat het. Someone who has awe and reverence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu and has an understanding that their limud, their Torah, their wisdom is in order so that they should have the proper awe of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and that they should foresee their actions, that their learning is being done in order for them to learn the right ways and the right path. Chochmato mitkayemet. For such a person, their wisdom endures. However, if a person is learning simply for the intellectual pursuit of the Torah, for the knowledge purpose, right? I'm becoming wiser maybe, I'm smarter than somebody else maybe, but it's not about affecting that person's yir'ah of het, that person's fear and awe and reverence of when it comes to sin, and it's not affecting their actions. For such a person, en chochmato mitkayemet. For such a person, that type of person, their wisdom does not endure. Right? And this works nicely with the story we just spoke about with Rabbi Hanina, because Rabbi Yochanan ben Zakkai explained that he is like an Eved lifnei hamelech. He's a servant to the king. And if we are true servants of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we learn Torah, when we learn our Torah and Mishnah and Gemara, Halacha, Midrash, everything that we learn, we're learning it in order to affect our actions. And that leads us to the next Mishnah, Mishnayot Bet. Hu haya omer, Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa would say, Kol shema'asav merubin mechochmato, chochmato mitkayemet. V'chol shechochmato meruba mima'asav, en chochmato mitkayemet. Right? Says Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, that when a person's actions are more, they outweigh his wisdom endures. Again, similar to what we said before, here, what's the reason why the person is learning? In order to act on it, in order to act mitzvot, in order to act properly. That's why a person is learning Torah. So as Rambam says, if a person is learning in order to regulate themselves with their virtues, with their actions, then that person has simcha, has true happiness in life. They're achieving a goal from their limud. However, v'chol shechochmato meruba mima'asav en chochmato mitkayemet. A person whose wisdom outweighs his actions or her actions, that person's wisdom does not endure. Because again, he's learning just to learn, or she's learning just to learn, not to fix themselves, not to help themselves. So therefore, in those cases, that learning never goes anywhere. It's just there for the knowledge purpose, not to affect any actions. Continues Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa. Hu haya omer, kol sheruach haberiyot noha hemenu, ruach hamakon noha hemenu. He says that all in whom the mind of men find pleasure, the mind of God finds pleasure. And the reverse is true as well. When people don't find pleasure in a person and don't find grace in the eyes of a person, the mind of God does not find pleasure in that person as well. And this really connects with everything Rabbi Hanina is saying as well. A person who's studying to affect their actions are positive. And when their actions are positive, they're positive towards other people. Their disposition towards other people are positive. How they act towards other people. And so Rabbi Hanina is teaching that when a person acts in a positive way that people find as pleasant, God finds that person pleasant as well. But if the person is only learning for their own self-ego, and the person is not helping others, and other people are not looking upon him or her favorably because of the way that they act, God too, says the Mishnah, says Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa, en ruach hamakom noha hemenu. And so for all of us, we should learn from these words of Rabbi Hanina ben Dosa to be careful about the way that we speak with others, the way we act towards others, and the way that we behave with others. Baruch Adonai le'olam, amen ve'amen.